Hey y'all, happy Thursday. So here we go, the loin belt of truth. So just some questions to get us thinking together about this as we begin our discussion. Why truth? And why the belt? Of all the things that Paul could have thought about, of all of the things that Paul could have used, why did he choose truth as a loin belt? How could truth be so important? The belt was not the flashiest piece of armor that the Roman soldier carried. It was not ornate like the helmet. The helmets were, of course, brass and on the side, but at the top they had this very decorative plume, feather, red actually, and most of what we see the images in Rick Renner's book, they're beautiful. That was the helmet. It wasn't flashy or ornate like the helmet, or eye-catching like the shoes, which were greaves. They had greaves that covered all their shin, and then had spikes 1 to 3 inches on the bottom of the shoes. That's eye-catching. But the belt, and why did Paul start there and not at the helmet, or so at the top or the bottom with the shoes? Why start there? And here's just let's just dig in. The belt, though small, was the most important piece of armor. It was the most important piece of weaponry that the Roman soldier had. The other pieces of armor hinged on and were supported by and held together by the belt of truth, or by the loin belt, and which of course Paul calls the belt of truth. Everything else hinged on that one piece, the belt. And I think that's why Paul called it truth, because everything else hinges upon truth and our knowledge of the truth. I want to read this excerpt from Rick Renner's Dress to Kill book, and it says, "It's easy to fall apart when you don't have your belt on. You'll spend most of your time trying to keep your pants pulled up. You won't feel very confident, and you certainly won't make any fast moves." And that is very, very true. You won't make any fast moves, and you'll spend most of your time trying to keep everything else together, which, as I'm doing this is Hussey baby. Hello, he's in our videos this week. Well, it has been for quite a while. But anyway, the belt holds everything together. The Roman shield was attached to the loin belt. No loin belt, there was no place to rest that shield. The loin belt had a place to rest the shield. And you think about it, that shield, which is the shield of faith, was massive, and it was all covering. And that's one thing that the Amplified mentions. It says in verse 16, "Lift up over all the covering shield of faith." Well, that's a big shield, and the soldier needed somewhere for it to rest on, something to support it. So this shield of faith was supported and rested on the loin belt of truth. The loin belt also provided a place for the soldier's sword. The sword, which Paul says is the sword of the Spirit, also hung on or hinged on and relied on the belt of truth. The belt of truth, the loin belt, also held the breastplate in place. It prevented the soldier's coat of mail, the breastplate of righteousness, as Paul tells us. It prevented it from flapping up or coming loose. It kept it secure so that the soldier would not be exposed to the enemy without protection. Now I want you to think about those 3 pieces that we've just talked about: the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, and the breastplate of righteousness, all hinged, all supported by, all held together by the loin belt of truth. And we will pick up here tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.